So good day, everyone. So welcome to one of the major topics in basic computer literacy. And now we will discuss about the Microsoft Excel. So in this, we will talk about the basic functions and the basic features in navigating the Microsoft Excel. So in taking this tool, we have just 10 steps and you'll be up and running with Excel and the world's most popular spreadsheet spreadsheet application. So first, uh, feature I discuss natin is on how to add the numbers like a jump. So here are some ways to add up numbers in Excel. So instead of manually doing it, we will perform it using the Excel. First step, select the yellow cell under the amounts of fruits. So let us say for example we have here the data that we have referring to fruits and to their respective amounts. In fruits, we have for items, for meat, and another one is for items. Okay? So, first step, i-demo ko, select the yellow cell under the amount. So, ito yun. So, bukayin lang natin. Binagyan ko yung kanina. And then type equals, and then capital sum, and then open parentheses, D4, colon, D7, and close parenthesis. And then, when you're done, you'll see the result of 170, and that is correct. So, bakit D4 and D7? Kasi itong cell na ito is located on the intersection of column D and uh, sa, row 7. So, ito yung row 4 hanggang row 7. So, ito siya. D4, D5, D6, and D7. Ito. So, na-add na natin siya. So, in this, very simple lang naman. You can manually do it. Pero kapag masyado ng maraming data na meron tayo sa ating spreadsheet, it is hard for us to do it manually. So, instead, we will just use the formula na provide sa atin ng Excel. So, another one, here are some other way to add using a shortcut key. So, meron tayong shortcut key na ginagamit. So, punta naman tayo sa yellow cell na nasa meat. So, ito, sa meat. So, press lang natin yung Alt and then equals. And automatically, ando na yung G4 and G7. So, enter lang natin. So, it is equals to 140. Now, add only the numbers over 50. And then select the yellow cell. So, dito naman tayo sa item. So, equals lang natin. Then, sum if, open parentheses, D11, colon. Ito yung D11. Pumunta na siya sa 50 sa D11. Hanggang D15. And then, comma. Then, apostrophe 50. Because, bakit 50? Because now, numbers over 50 lang yung included natin dito sa intervals. Okay. Kaya close parenthesis. Okay. So, ito na siya. So, dapat greater than 50. Okay. So, enter natin. So, we have the 100. Okay. So, dito naman, try naman natin dito sa kabila. try another sum if formula here, but add amounts that are less than 100. So i-add lang natin yung mga less than 100. So meaning to say, ang na-add lang dito is dito sa una, ang na-add lang dito is yung mga greater than 50. So di included dito yung 50. So yung greater than 50 lang naman dito is yung 100. Okay. So yung 100 lang talaga yung nalagay. So dito naman, try naman natin yung sum if formula. Okay, sorry. Don't forget the equals. Sum if. So it is G11 hanggang G15. And then, comma, apostrophe, and that is less than 50, less than 100. Then close, apostrophe, this close parenthesis. Okay, so there's some error. Ang nalagay ko siguro. Okay, so hindi ko nalagyan ng G15 yun. Ay, G15 pala, sorry. So yun, 160. So 50. So less than 100 lang dapat. So yung 50 plus 40, that is 90, plus 50, that is 140, plus 20, exactly, that is 160. Okay. So here we have another information about the sum function. If some of the above tips we taught you how to use the sum function, here are some details about it. Double-click a yellow cell on the right and then read along with the text below. Okay. So yun lang naman. So next step na tayo. Save time by filling cells automatically. So ito, click the cell with the number 100. So dito tayo. So click natin yan. Then rest your cursor on the lower right corner of the cell unit. It becomes cross. So tingnan nga natin. So ito nga, naging cross nga siya. Then click the cross and drag down drag down 3 cells. Tingnan natin. So yun. Yun yung nangyayari. So as we see here, this plus this. So ito this plus this. So we have 50 plus 50, we have 100. 50 plus 60, we have 110. And 50 plus 70, we have 120. Okay, so that is a trick para mas mapadali yung ating fills sa ating mga cells. And that is automatically. Okay. So click the cross and drag down 3 cells. Cells will automatically fill the cells with the totals of 110, 120, and 130. Okay. So try nga natin. So ito siya. Okay. So ito pala. So ayun. Ito pa lang tatlo yung nire-refer natin. 110, 120, and 130. Okay. People call this filling down. So proceed na tayo sa number 4 bullet. So click the yellow cell with 200. So gawin natin, click natin yan. And fill again with this, but this time drag the fill handle to the right to fill the cells. So this is known as filling right. So filling niya tama siya. So ito siya. So yun. Automatically nag-add na siya. Okay, so 50 plus 60, that is 110. Plus 70, that is 180. Plus 80, that is, okay, tama, 260. 75 plus 70 is 300. So that is correct. Okay. And for extra one, extra credit, click and drag to the select tree this to select these 4 cells. Okay. Then press Control D. That's the shortcut key for filling down. You can guess what's the shortcut for filling right, please? Okay. So dito sa extra credit, click and drag to select these 4 cells and then press Control D. Okay. Control D. Sorry, Control S yung napindot ko. So yun. That's the shortcut key for filling down. So that is for filling down. Control D. So can you guess what the shortcut for filling right is? So try nga natin. So delete natin na. So sige natin. So dito. Try natin yung Control R. So yun. So dito Control D. Control R dito kasi we are filling it right. So dito naman Control D kasi filling down. So pababa. So hindi natin magagawa yon basta dapat dito meron dapat formula dito, I guess. So ito siya, makikita natin dito sum equal to sum E4 to F4. So ito siya. Ano nakalagay? E4. So ito E4 hanggang dito sa F4. So itong dalawa yung in-add. So same way dito. So D, halimbawa ito. So E11 hanggang ito, E14. So meron na talagang formula na nakalagay dyan. So next na tayo. So tapos na tayo dito sa add, sa fill. Sa fill kasi nakalagay na diyan yung add. Dito naman tayo sa split. So data stuff into one column, split it. Okay? So in the cell under first name, so ito yung first name. Type the first names that are in the email column. So for example, ito siya, Nancy, first name lang. So lagay natin Nancy. Nancy. Dito naman si Andy. Dito si John. Okay. And so on. So type natin Maria and Yvonne. So after we type the first name, when you see the faded list of suggestion, then press enter right anyway. So dito si Andy. Okay. Si John. Okay. The list of suggestion is called flash fill. Okay. Flash fill detects suggestion to fill the cells with. When you see the faded list, that's your cue to press enter. Okay. So try another way to flash fill. Click the cell with Smith. Okay. And then click home. Dito sa home tab. Then punta tayo sa fill. So hanapin natin yung fill. Sa home tab. Dito lang naman yung fill. So ito yung fill and then flash fill. Ito. So ayun. Lumabas na yung mga last names ng ating nasa email. So another information na present dito, good to know, Control plus E is the shortcut for flash fill. So try nga natin. Okay, Control E natin. Control E. Okay, sorry. Click natin pala. So, press natin ito. Press natin. Then Control E natin. So, yun. Lumabas na. So, try natin dito sa first name. And then Control E natin. So, yun. Lumabas. Automatic. And that is the shortcut for flash fill. So, dito tayo. So dito naman tayo sa additional details on the split a column based on delimiters. Flash fill is pretty handy. But if you want to split data into more than one column all at once, then it's not the best tool for the job. Then try text to columns in this situation. So ito siya. So text to columns daw natin. So ito siya. So yung first name, last name, company name. So tama naman kasi talaga. So it's very time consuming and sa effort na rin kapag mano-mano natin nilagay. So first, click and drag to select the cell from Nancy all the way to Yvonne. Sige. So ito siya. On the data, so on the data tab, so ang data tab natin, nasa bang data tab? So ito, data tab. Click text column. So nasan ba yung text column dito? Hanapin natin yung text column. So ito siya, text to columns. So ito. So make sure that delimited is selected. So ito siya. Nakaselect naman talaga yung delimited. Okay? And then make sure that comma is the only checkbox. So hindi siya nakatab siya. So select natin yung comma. And is the only checkbox selected. Then click next. Click natin yung next. Then finally, click inside the destination. So ito na siya. And type ito yung destination, $sign $D, capital D, $sign, and 32. Then click finish. So okay lang natin yan. So ito na siya. Automatically, na-distribute na natin siya into columns. So split column based on delimiters. So worth exploring. There's another way of working with data. You can query an external source and you can split the data that comes from the source. And you do that once. And the data is refreshable and easy to work with from that moment on. So are you curious ba tayo? Tinatanong tayo dito. Then click the data tab and explore the options in the get and transform. So dito yung get and transform na group. And see the link at the bottom of the sheet. So punta na tayo sa bot. Okay. So andun. So nandito naman yung medyo complicated. Split a column with formulas. You might want to write a formula to split data. This way, if the original data gets updated, then the split data will get updated as well. This is more advanced, but it is possible when using a handful of functions, such as left, right, find, and len. For more information on each of these functions, see the links at the bottom of this sheet. But if you're curious, here's how we split cell C56. So nasan ba yung C56? Ito, C, and then 56. So ito yung C56, di ba? Make sure to follow along with the diagram on the right as you go through these steps. So, okay. Okay, so follow lang natin yung step. Excuse. So, double click the yellow cell with Yvonne. So, ito yung Yvonne. And then, we use the left function to extract characters from the left side of the cell C56. And to specify the number of characters to extract, we use the find function. Read how it works diagram, and then press escape when you're done. So, okay, ito lang naman siya. Kaya nalagay dito yung first name, yung Yvonne, kasi dito, extract the characters from the left side of, okay, so left side of C56. So left equals to left of C56. That is how to extract the characters from the left side of the C56. And the cell, the C56. And find the character of the position. So that is the C56. That is the position of the character. And then extract these many characters. To specify the numbers of characters, use the find function. So comma, find. That is the function, find function. And then open parentheses and apostrophe space apostrophe. And that is the first space. And comma, C56. And that's the position of the cell. And close parenthesis, -1. And then subtract 1 to exclude the space itself. So that's how it works. Kung titignan natin, itong first name, sa formula, yun yung nakalagay. Ito. So di ba? Ito yung nakalagay. Same lang. So that's why C56 minus 1, kaya ito nakalagay dito is yung first name na Yvonne. So escape lang natin as is stated here. So yun. So, same goes with the helper column. So, number 2, bullet. Then we created a helper column. So, ito siya, helper column. Francis McKay. This is just to help extract the other text in the cell. It meant to be temporary and something one could always be hide later. So, that's it. So, para malagay natin ito yung nakalagay. So, is equals to right, open parenthesis, C56, and left, len, C56 minus subtract the find. Okay. So, tignan nyo na lang ito. And to extract this many characters, to specify the number of characters, ang ginamit dito is yung len function. Okay. So, double-click the Francis McKay. Double-click natin. So, yun ang nakita natin. So, ito yung formula. So, same formula lang na nilagay dito. You'll see that we use the right len and find function to extract the characters from the first space up until the end of the cell. So, escape na natin. So, yun. So, double-click din natin yung Francis. Okay. So, yun. F56 nga lang dito. Kasi it was positioned on the F56 sa helper column. Kasi hiniwalay na dito yung Francis McKay. Okay, so dito nahiwalay pa lang yung Yvonne. So sa helper column, in-split na yung Francis McKay sa middle name and last name.
So, double click din natin yung McKay as stated in bullet number 5. So, yun. Write F56 len. So, yun. Naka-paste talaga siya dito sa F56. So, proceed na tayo. And that is for the split. Punta naman tayo sa transposition or sa transpose. Which data around by transposing it. So, when you need to rotate columns and rows, you transpose them in Excel. So, sa first bullet, click and drag to select 2 rows of cells from item to 20. So, click and drag to select 2 rows of cells from item to 20. So, ang gagawin daw natin from item, drag natin dito hanggang to 20. From item to 20. Now, you'll have to copy the cells, Control C. So, ito na, naka-Control C na siya. And punta tayo sa yellow cell. Tapos punta sa bullet form, sabi dito on the home tab, punta tayo sa click the arrow under the paste button. So, ito siya. And then, click this paste special. Ito ba yun? Paste special. And then, at the bottom, click the checkbox for transpose. So, ito siya, transpose. Then, click. Okay, so ito siya. So, na-transpose na natin siya from pahiga, patayo na yung tabulation natin. So, dito naman tayo. That is for the transposition. Pero how about the transposition of the formula? So, sometimes you don't want to copy and paste to transpose, diba? So, in this case, you can use a formula to transpose rows and columns. Here's how to do that. So, to transpose this data, you need to select some blank cells first. Since the data on the right has 6 columns, dito, data on the right has 6 columns and 2 rows. So, 2 rows na siya. Ito. You need to select the opposite. 2 columns and 2 rows. Do this by selecting the yellow cell. So, ito. Selecting the yellow cell. This is kind of tricky. So pay attention. With those cells still selected, type the following. So type natin ito, equals transpose. So wait, ulitin natin. Transpose, then column C33. Ito siya, C33, yung item dito. Up to H34. So ito yung H34, yung 20. So but don't press enter yet. So press control. So ayun yun, nagalaw. Sorry. Consult natin. Transpose 33 H pala, sorry. H34. Don't enter. Control, Shift, and then enter natin. So, yes lang natin ito. So, ito na siya. Yun kasi sa una, wala siyang formula, data lang talaga siya. So, walang formula dyan. O, di ba? Nakikita natin walang pa for formula dyan. Talagang na-type lang talaga yan. Pero dito, okay. Let's formula yung ginamit natin dito. Di ba? As we can see here, meron tayong equals. Ang formula na ginamit natin dito is ito. Okay. So, nakita natin dito, click any of the yellow cells to select just one. Look at the formula at the top of Excel. So, nakikita natin dito. Same formula lang naman sila. You'll see that the formula looks like this. Click another yellow cell. So, click natin another yellow cell. Look at the formula bar again. The formula is the same. Why? Because this is an array formula. So, array formula ito. So, andito yung mga information about sa array formula. So, we have to keep in mind that there are three things to keep in mind when using an array formula. So, number one, always select multiple cells, and then with those cells selected, start typing the array formula. Okay, so as I have done earlier. So, sinelect ko muna yung mga yellow cells, lahat ng yellow cells. So, ginanito ko muna siya. Tsaka ko sinulat yung formula. Hindi yung sa isang cell ka lang magsusulat. Okay? That's the key. Select the multiple cell first, then start typing. When you're done typing the array formula, press Control Shift, then Enter. Hindi lang yung Enter. Kasama yung Control, then Shift, then Enter. Not only the Enter key. Once you enter an array formula, you cannot interrupt that new array. For example, you cannot type over or delete just one of the cell. So you also cannot insert a new row or column within the array. If you did to any of that, select all the cells that you have the array formula, press delete, and then make your changes and recreate the formula. So, sama-sama na talaga sila. Hindi mo to magagalaw. Next one is the sort and filter with ease. Okay? So sa bullet 1, let's say you want the departments in alphabetical order. Click the departments column. Okay, itong departments column lang yung sinasabi dito, hindi naman yung sinabi na i-highlight natin. And then click home. Then sort and filter. Hanapin natin yung sort and filter. So ito siya, sort and filter. And then A to Z. Yun. So yung bakery. So yun. So still, magkakasama pa rin sila. Okay. Sort December's amount. So yung December's amount naman. From largest to smallest. So click any cell in the December column. So click ito, yung $120,000. And then click the home. Sort and filter again. And then largest to smallest. Ito siya. So yun. Okay, so sama-sama pa rin sila. So stick pa rin yung columns and rows natin in terms of the data. Hindi lang yung columns ng December yung nagalaw, kundi yung overall arrangement. Now you'll filter the data so that only the bakery rows appear. Okay, so Control A. Control A natin dito. And then select all of the cells, then click home. Sort and filter pa rin. And then, filter. So, yun. Filter buttons appear on the top row. So, ito na siya. On the department cell, click the filter button. And then click to clear the select all checkbox. So, alisin ko lang yung select all. Then, ang ilalagay ko lang daw is yung bakery. So, okay ko. Click okay. So, yung bakery lang yung nalagay. So, may dalawa tayong bakery. Category ng isa is yung for desserts and yung isa is for breads. Click OK and only the bakery rows appear, as we can see. Now clear the filter by clicking the filter button. So, ito. And then clear filter. So, yun. Balik na siya sa dati. Original. Okay, so binalik ko lang siya sa dati. So, yung extra credit na nandito when you're done with the step 5. Okay, so balik natin since may step 5 pa pala. Try sorting alphabetically the two columns. Okay, so dito. So mas madali para dito. Pag i-filter lang natin. So, first sort departments alphabetically. Alphabetically natin A to Z. And then, that's the step 1 on the left. Then click home. And then, sort and filter. And custom sort. Palagay dito sa extra credit. Okay, para makita nyo. Custom sort. And then nakalagay, add a second level for category. So, lagay natin dito add level. After you click OK, department will be sorted. So, nag-add level lang tayo. Then, add second level for category. Ito, category. Okay, click OK natin. Okay yun. The department will be sorted within each department. So, ito na siya. So, category rows will be sorted in alphabetical order as well. Okay. Yun. Alphabetical order na siya. And your department will be sorted and within each department. Okay. So next, sort by date or by color even. Okay, so dito tayo. If there are many ways to sort in Excel, here are just 2 more ways to sort. But this time, you'll use the right click menu. Okay? So sa bullet number 1, you want the dates in order. So click the right click a date, and then click sort. So nasan ba yung date? Sort, and then sort oldest to newest. Yun. The rows will get sorted in ascending date in order with the expense date. So yun na. So dito, more on sort and filter tayo dito eh. Sa unang section ng sort and filter. Or dito tayo sa home. Pero pwede naman nating puntahan dito yung control A natin, di ba? Para mas mapadali. Tapos punta na tayo dito. Filter. Para dito na mas mapadali tayo. Di ba? Makikita na lang natin. So dito naman, ang tinuturo naman sa atin dito, yung sa right click. Okay? Sort by date or by color even. So dito. So sa bullet number 2, someone filled 3 cells with yellow. So ito yun, yung 3 cells with yellow. You can sort the rows by that color. Right click a yellow cell. Okay, ito yung i-right click natin. And then, click sort. So sa sort, put selected cell color on top. So ito siya. Boom. Nasa top na yung may mga colored na cell. So more ways to filter the data. So meron pa dito ang bonus. Many people type formulas to find amounts that are above average or greater than the certain amount. But there's no need to type formulas when special filters are available. So sa bullet number 1, on the hotel cell, ito yung hotel cell. Click the filter button. Then click the number filters. Nasaan yung number filters? Ito. Then above average. So no need talaga dito ng formula. So andito na siya. Mahahanap na natin. So yun. Above average. So automatically, kinakalculate na ng Excel yung average na amount ng hotel sa hotel column. And then shows only rows with amounts greater than the average. So yung mga below the average, hindi na siya kasama sa columns. Kasi yung finilter lang natin is yung mga above the average. Now on the second bullet, now add the second filter. On the food cell, so ito yung food cell, click the filter button and then click number filters. And then greater than. Punta tayo sa greater than. Ito. And then type 25. Greater than 25. So yun lang yung ma-include yung greater than 25. And then click OK. Yun. So balik tayo. Greater than 25 yung linagay natin. So we have here the 21, 30, and 45. So yung greater than 25 dyan is yung 30 and 45 lang naman. So yung 30 and 45 lang yung natira. So that's it. So dito na tayo sa step 6 about the tables. So sa tables naman, tables make things a lot easier. So a table gives you special features and convenience. Here's how to create one. Ito tayo. So sa bullet number 1, click inside the data to the right and then click insert. So punta tayo sa data. Hanapin natin yung data. Data. And click insert. So click insert inside the data, then click insert dito, then table, and then okay. So yun, naka-table na siya. Diba? Now you have a table. Now you have a table which is a collection of cells that has special features. So for starters, a table gives you banded rows for easier reading. Para mas madali nating mabasa yung ating mga datas. Okay? So you can also create new rows easily in the empty cell under meat. So nasan ba yung meat? Ito, under meat. So dito, under meat, type some text. So ilagay ko dito Sir Jump. Okay? Press enter. So a new row from the table appears. So diretso na yan. Okay. So yun. Meron na tayong tables dyan. You can also create columns easily. In the lower right corner of the table, so lower right, dito ba? So, text Reddit, lagay lang natin dito. Yun. Okay. In the lower right corner of the table, click the resize handle and drag it into two right columns. So, ito siya. Yun. So, naka-create na naman ng another table na magdudugtong sa ating unang table. Okay, notice how two columns are created. Formatted in text, Jan and February are filled for you. So, try nga natin. So, wala tayong makikita. So, yun. Di ba? Wala tayo kasing nakita na January and February. So, nag-doubt ako. So, yun. Meron na tayong nalagay. So, another one. Baka may mahirap pa natin ng February. So, ito. Yun, nahirit pa natin yung February. So for the extra credit na meron tayo dito, so it says that try changing the table style. First, click inside the table. So first natin, click inside the table. And as mentioned here, the table tools design tab will appear at the top of the Excel. So tignan nga natin. So ito siya, yung table tool, and under this is the design. So click the tab and then pick the style that you like. So dito tayo sa styles, table styles. So medyo as I notice, medyo malabo itong style na ito. Hindi ko masyadong nakikita yung division sa mga columns. So I try this one. So ito na lang siguro. So ito na yung style na napili ko. And that's for the extra credit. So dito naman, for additional information, so that is for tables, make things a lot easier. So calculated columns in tables. So one example of a convenience the tables give you is the calculated columns. So you type a formula once and it gets automatically filled down for you. Here's how it works. So once ka lang magta-type ng formula and all the columns will follow. Select the cell under the total. So ito yung total. Cell lang under the total and then alt equals. So that is the sum. And then press enter. So dito pala. Alt equals. Ito pala yung shortcut. Alt equals. Yun. So ito na yung mga total from October to December. So the sum formula gets filled down for you so that you don't have to do it yourself. So ito, na-discuss na natin ito dun sa add section. So in terms of table, ito pala yung shortcut. So after putting in the calculated column, try typing over one of the cells in the column. What happens? If you see a green triangle, so tignan nga natin. So ito yung type natin. So type natin 90. So meron green triangle na lumabas. Click it and then click the exclamation mark. Okay? You see that the Excel is watching for you. Okay. So namomonitor tayo ng Excel kung mali ba yung ginagawa natin o tama ba. So ignore the error, edit the formula bar, or restore the calculated column formula. So restore na lang natin. Okay? So total rows and tables. Another convenience in tables are total rows. Instead of typing a sum formula, Excel can make the total for you with a flip of a switch. And the same goes for the average formula and so many other. So ito yung paano siya gumagana. So number 1 bullet, select any cell within the table on the right. Okay, select any cell. Then at the top of the Excel window, table tool design tab will appear. And then on the tab, click total row instead. So total row, ito siya. Ito pala yung total row. Sorry. So sa total row, ayun, nandun na yung total. So as we notice here, walang total dito sa ating table, sa ating data. So the total is $24,000, which is tama naman as we total it. Is added to the bottom of the table. But what if you wanted to know the average? Click the 24. Wow. $24,000. And then click the arrow down. And then here's the average. So yung average is $3,000. And it's correct. So balik na lang natin dun sa nano. So balik natin dun sa total. Sa So yun, $24,000. So natagal na po ng konti. So that's it for the table. So punta naman tayo sa step number 7, insert a drop-down list. So to do this, drop-down list make a data entry easier for people. Here's how to do one. So first step, we want only 3 departments named to be valid entries for each of the foods on the right. So we have here the foods. And here's we have the apple, beef, bananas, lemons, and so on and so forth. Those departments are produce, meat, bakery. So those are the departments. Then click and drag to select the yellow cell on the department. Under the department. On the data tab, so punta tayo sa data tab, click data validation. So hanapin natin yung data validation. So ang data validation, mahahanap natin siya dito sa data. Okay? So, highlight muna natin ito. And then, punta tayo sa data validation. Ito yung data validation. So, hindi natin siya, ito siya, data validation. And then, select allow. Then, pick yung list sa allow. In the source box, ang ilalagay natin dyan is yung produce. Okay? Ilalagay natin type produce. Meat and bakery. So make sure na nakaput tayo ng commas between them and click OK when you're done. So walang nalagay. So I guess kailangan wala tayong space doon. List. Okay. Now click the yellow cell to apples. So see a drop down menu. So dito, so produce dito naman. Meat, bananas is produce. So you don't mind the spelling po dito. So balik ko data validation. Should be produce. Yan. Produce. Okay, so on and so forth. So, punta naman tayo sa best practices. So, best practices for drop downs. So, using a table. We just taught you how to insert a drop down menu for the list of departments. But what if happens that list changes? Okay, for example, what if there's a new department called dairy? You'd have to update the data validation dialog box, but there's more efficient way by creating a table first. So, ano ba yung way? So, in column F, ito yung column F. Click a cell with a department. So, ito siya. And then, click meat. Okay, meat. And then, create a table by pressing Control T. Then, press OK. So, ito na yung table. Control T. Okay, ito na yung table. And then, now you'll set up the data validation again in column D. In column D, select all the blank cells under department. So, ito siya, highlight natin. Then, under data tab, punta ulit tayo sa data validation. And click under allow, list pa rin tayo, syempre. Nakalist yan eh. Then, okay tayo. Hindi pa pala. Sa source pala, yung up arrow button. Naka-indicate siya sa step number 5. So, ayun. Then, sa step 6 natin, click and drag the select and just produce meat and bakery cells in the column F. Then, click on the okay. So, ang sabi lang naman dito, click inside the source box. Ito yung source box. And then click the arrow, up arrow. Sige. And then click and drag to select just the produce. And then meat bakery. Okay. Cells in the column F. Then down natin. Okay, so eto, highlight natin. Punta ulit tayo sa data validation. Data validation. So, list stated in step number 4, then sa source. So, sabi dito, click the up arrow button, and then highlight natin ito. Tapos, ibaba ulit natin. Okay? Click and drag to select just Bruce Meat and Bakery cells in the column F. Okay. Nasa column F ba? Okay, ayun. And then, click the down button. And then you should see this in the source box. Yung 32 hanggang 34. So, ito na siya. 32 hanggang 43 ito. Hanggang 43. I believe it's 43. If you don't see that, you can type it in and then click OK. So, nandiyan na. Now that you type OK, click the drop down arrow. So, nandiyan na siguro yung ito. Okay. There are only 3 elements. Produce, meat, and bakery. So, dito wala pa rin tayo makita. So 34 po talaga. So, balik ulit tayo. So, dito, data. So, click the data validation. Column D, select all the blank cells under the department as stated in step 3. And then, punta na tayo sa data, and then data validation. And then, list. And then, click the source. And, okay, up natin ito. And then, click and drag to select just the produce, meat, and bakery. So, ito pala dapat yung ating i-highlight. I-select. So, down ko na ulit. So, sa source natin, F32 hanggang F34. So, tama pala. So, hindi pala dapat ito na department. Itong department pala yung nire-refer nila. So, tama na tayo. And then, click OK. And then, ayun. Nakikita na natin. So sa apples, it should be produce. Sa beef, it should be meat. Sa bananas. And then, sa bread, it should be bakery. Sa cookies, bakery. And so on and so forth. So, tapos na tayo. And next, let's move to analyze the data quickly. Okay. So here's how to analyze data so that you can spot patterns and trends quickly. So step number 1, click and drag to select all cells on the right. Ito. And then click this button in the lower right corner. Okay. Ito siya. So, drag na natin lahat. And then click this button. Ito. And then on the panel that appears, click data bars. Ito yung data bars. And then the cells under October, November, December columns get special data bars that visualize their amount. So nakikita natin dito. Parang may chart na dito na indicating, referring on the amount. So nakikita natin yung pinakamababa is yung $10,000, mababa lang yung bar niya. Habang sa 150 sa $200,000, napakataas. Now let's say you want to get rid of the bars. Then click the button again. So clear format lang tayo. On the panel that appears, click the clear format button on the right. So yung clear format. Ito siya. Yun. So wala na. So when you select cells, this button appears. Ito yung button. It is called the quick analysis. Quick analysis ang tawag dito. So empty name. Don't you think? If you ever have a question about the data, click this button and see if it gives you some answers. So it is for analyze data quickly, and this is for quickly make a chart. You can always use the insert tab and create a chart. So that's it. But here's another way to make a chart using a quick analysis button. This time though, we'll use the key shortcut. So may shortcut na dito. And then step number 1, click a cell inside the data. Okay, click ko dito. And then press Control Q. So yun. May shortcut. On the panel that appears, click the charts. So yun. And then click the first clustered. Yung first clustered. And then, ito siya. Merong nilabas na chart. Ulitin lang ISO. Nilabas na chart. Ito, tabi ko lang dito. Na-interpret niya agad-agad. So it is how to make a chart quickly. Napakadali. Napakalaking tulong ng Excel. So a new clustered column chart appears. Move it anywhere you'd like. Notice that each product has 3 columns, 1 for each month of sales. So tingnan natin. So ito siya. So October, November, and December. Next, quickly makes sparkliness. Let's say you want little trend lines the right of this data to show how the amounts go up or down during the 3 months. You don't have to make 8 little line chart. You can make sparkliness instead. How? Click a cell inside the data. Then again, press Control Q. On the panel appears, click sparkliness. Sparklines rather. And then click the line button. Ito siya. Sparklines appear to the right of the December column. So ito siya, yun. Each line represents the data for that row and shows whether the amounts go up or down. So to clear the sparklines, click and drag to select them. And then the sparkline tools design, yun, sa design tayo. Ito yung sparkline tools design. Tab will appear at the top of the window. Go to the tab and click the clear button. So ito siya. So wala na. So that's how you make sparklines, chart, and to analyze the data quickly. So that is for the step 8. The next for the step 9, for our tour in Microsoft Excel, grade charts recommended for you. So ano ba yung mga grade charts na recommended sa atin? So number 1, click anywhere in the data to the right and click insert. And then recommended. Saan ba yung insert? Ito. And then recommended charts. So hanapin natin yung recommended charts. Ito, recommended charts. Yun. You'll see several recommendations. Diba? Nakikita natin yung mga recommendation. Meron pang bar graph, meron pang pie graph. Okay? A column chart appears showing total numbers of conference attendees per year. Feel free to move it anywhere you'd like. Okay? So now we'll add a trend line, select a chart, and the chart tool tab will appear. So, piliin ko itong pie graph. Okay ko? Okay, merong chart tool na nag-appear dito sa taas ng ating Excel. On the chart tool, merong dalawa, merong design, merong format. So click natin yung design and add chart element. Ito yung chart element. And then, trend line. So walang trend line dito kasi pie graph yung pinili natin. So line graph yung piliin ko para meron tayong ano. So ito na lang. And then design, add element, and then trend line. So meron na trend line. And then make it linear. Trend line and linear. So yun. Lumabas na. Now you have a trend line that shows the general direction of the unit sold over time. So it is rising. Okay. So move ko lang siya dito. So for extra credit, want a data table directly under the chart, click the chart. And punta ka sa chart tools. And then design, add chart element, data table, and then with legend key. So yun. Yeah, so ito na siya. May legend na. So diba? So dito wala. Pero nagka-legend na, ito na siya. Oh. And that's how we can have the data table directly under the chart. Ito naman tayo sa horizontal and vertical axis. In school, you might have learned that there is an x-axis and y-axis. So yung x-axis, ito yung horizontal, yung y-axis naman, ito yung vertical. Excel has these two axes as well, but it's called them something different. In Excel, this is what they call the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. Okay? So each axis can either be a value axis or a category axis. So yung value axis naman represent a numerical value. For example, a value axis can represent dollars, hours, duration, temperature, and so on. The vertical axis on the right is a value axis. Sa category axis naman, it represents things like dates, people's name, product names. The horizontal axis on the right has years, so this is a category axis. Okay, so we have here the illustration. Ito yung vertical axis, which is the value axis. Ito naman yung horizontal axis, which is the category axis. And now we have the secondary axis. You can also use a secondary axis in a chart. A secondary axis is an additional value axis that can show different values than the other value axis. Okay? So yung secondary axis natin, ito. Ito yung food sales. Now, proceed naman tayo sa last one, sa pivot tables. So, sa charts ito. So, number 9. So, sa last one, we have the pivot tables. Summarize data with pivot tables. So, sa step number 1, look at the date salesperson, product, and amount columns. Nandito tayo sa ating table. Can you see quickly identify which product is the most profitable or which salesperson is the leading seller? That's where the pivot table below can help. When we created the pivot table, we clicked few buttons so that the data could be summarized. Now we know which data product is the most profitable. So we have here the pivot table. Ito na siya. So pwede natin magawa ang pivot table using kanina yung ginamit natin sa sort and filter dito. Okay. So we have the pivot table. Now you'll pivot the data so that you can find out which salesperson is the leading seller. Okay. Right click and cell inside the pivot table and then click show field list. Ito, show field list. And then the pivot table pane appears. So ito na siya. Okay. Click the checkbox for salesperson. Okay. Now you can see who's the leading salesperson is. Kita na ba natin? Okay. So si Ann, meron siyang 2,150. Si Maria, 1,600. Si Mark, 510. And then si Laura, 680. Si Mark, 1,010 sa wine. So ang leading natin is si Ann. Meron siyang $2,150. So in creating a pivot table, ito siya. Now you create the pivot table yourself so that you'll know how to make one when you need to summarize the data. Okay. So dito na tayo. Click a cell inside the data on the right and then on the insert menu, click pivot table. Insert. Okay, punta muna tayo dito sa cell inside. Okay, and then menu. And then click the pivot table. Oops, wala. Pivot table. Ito siya, pivot table. And the dialog that appears, click existing worksheet. Ito, existing worksheet. And then type C42. Add. And the location. Ito yung C42. Then click OK. Tapos, the pivot table fields pane appears on the right. So ito na siya yung pivot table fields. At the top of the pane, click the checkbox for product. Ito yung product. Okay. So ano ba yung product? Ito na naman beer, wine, beer, soda, soda, wine. Okay, so ito na siya, na-summarize na. When you do that, the product fields, okay siya. So sa step 5, at the top of the pane, click the checkbox of the amount. So yun, so of the amount. So meron na siya dito. So when you do that, the amount field will get added to the values. The values area at the bottom of the pane. And at the same time, the amounts are total for each product in the pivot table. So na-total na siya. Okay? So congratulations, you made a pivot table. So ganun po paggawa ng pivot table. So una, gagawin po na natin yung table natin. Tapos, let the pivot table analyze it. But there is a lot more you can do. So click the link at the bottom of the sheet if you want to learn more. Okay? So meron pa tayong another
topic for the Microsoft Excel, and that is more on the formula. Okay. So for more questions, we can have this one. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. And that is the end for the topic number 1 for Microsoft Excel.